Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our second part of a Dasha series. Okay, since yesterday we did Dasha, today I wanted to talk about how to actually judge mahadasha. How do you see if somebody's gonna have, or you are gonna have, a good dasha, a really bad dasha, or a mixed dasha? You know, like an average dasha. People experience good things and bad things. Okay. So, I hope you've already watched what dashas are, okay? And if you don't know what dashas are, again, I'm going to refer you to this video here. Please, we'll go watch it and then come back to this video. Thank you. Hey, Yashi, stop rolling on the ground, bro. We're filming for the people. He's like rolling on the ground. I'm sorry. You little monkey. Okay, so, how to judge a dasha? Well, first of all, when you're judging a dasha, you want to take a note of the basic things. Is the planet, the dasha that you're running of whatever, 7 years, 6 years, 20 years, is that planet excelled or debilitated? Is that planet in a friendly sign or enemy sign? Is that planet being aspected by an enemy or by a friend? And if that friend is excelled or debilitated, or it's in a weak or strong position, you want to look at the placement of that mahadasha lord and see if it's in Kendra or Trikona, or if it's a malefic planet, is it in Kendra or it's in the 3rd house or 11th house for it to give good results. Then when you judge that, you go to the divisional charts. Actually, no. So when you judge that, then you look to see if the planet whose dasha you're running, is he a functional malefic planet or a functional benefic planet? And is this planet in conjunction with a functional malefic or a functional benefic? And if you don't know what functional and malefic benefic are, check out the link below. Okay, and I'll tell you the link again at the end where my book is, and I talk about that with examples, and we'll get to that later on as well. Okay. Then once you have looked at this entire scenario, then you want to see what's the placement of this mahadasha planet in divisional charts. Mainly the 3 main divisional charts are the D3 chart, D9 chart, and the D10 chart. D3 shows, this cannot be the D3. This is the D3. D3 chart shows your general happiness in life. Okay, general happiness and gains through siblings and relationship through siblings. Because sometimes siblings help you a lot in getting you where you want to go. And then you want to look at the same placement in the Nimansha chart, the D9 chart. And to see if it's in Kendra or Trikona of their house. And then in the D10 chart, you want to make sure if it's in Kendra. In D10 chart, the Kendra position is the most important position, especially the 10th house. And here's another tricky thing regarding all these charts, including your main chart. That malefic planets in Trikona houses, meaning the ascendant, 5th and 9th house, get a little tricky. Even though this is the best houses, yet malefics in Trikona houses don't necessarily give good results unless they are friendly to the ascendant. So if you have a Gemini ascendant and Saturn is in the 5th house, that means it's excelled in the sign of Libra. And there it can give good results, but also it might give bad results too, because it's a Lord of the 8th house for Gemini ascendant. But mainly it'll be pretty good there regarding the general significance of the 5th house, 8th house, and 9th house, because he's ruling those 3 houses. Same thing with Taurus ascendant. If Mars is in the 9th house, exalted in the sign of Capricorn, it does well. It performs well. Now, it's not an enemy of the ascendant, Mars. It's not the friendly to the ascendant, Taurus. It's neutral with Venus. So there, Mars can then give good results. Now, unless Mars was in Gemini in the 9th house, then it will give trouble. Then it'll give a bit of a trouble regarding the significance of the 9th house and the house that Mars ruled in that case. Okay. And so you want to look at these things. Now, one thing I will tell you guys for sure that majority of your guys' concerns are your career, your status. Will you be this? Will you be that? Will you get this status? Will you get this promotion and that? And for that, it is essential to look at your D10 chart of the Dasha period that you're going through. So if you're going through, let's say, Saturn Dasha, okay, or Saturn Mahadasha, look to see where Saturn is placed in D10 chart. If Saturn is in a good or average sign, yet it is in Kendra house, meaning the first house, fourth house, seventh house, and 10th house, the inner plates of the Vedic Astrology birth chart, that is a very strong position, especially the 10th house and the first house, because first and 10th house are the most important houses in astrology anyway. But in D10 chart, the Kendra house hold a bit more of a significance, especially the first and 10th house. And so let's say if your Saturn is placed in the third house in Gemini in your D1 chart, but in your D10 chart, it's in Libra in the 10th house, exalted in the 10th house. That shows that in Saturn Dasha, you will prevail in terms of getting your promotion, becoming like a district manager or your senior engineer or a VP of a company, or and especially like being known in your community as far as fame is concerned, that will come up. But remember, even when you have these two positions, look at the fact is who's aspecting Saturn, who's in Saturn conjunction with. Is it within a planetary war, like in Mars or Sun? So if in a D10 chart, Sun and Saturn are in conjunction in the 10th house, then it shows in the Saturn Dasha or Sun Dasha, you will get promotion, but with lots and lots of opposition. You will have to struggle a lot because these two planets are in the planetary war. They're not trying to help you right now, they're helping themselves by fighting each other. So this is one of the things that you have to see, is that if they're, completely free from all these other avenues and aspects to get the good result. Now, once you have done this and and especially now that you know that D10 chart is very important, but remember, D1 is always the important one. So if your Saturn is debilitated in the D1 chart, yet it's excelled and nicely positioned in the D9 or D10 or D3 chart, that shows that your Dasha will have mixed results, meaning that you will suffer the consequences of a debilitated Saturn, and wherever it's placed in your horoscope, in your D1 chart. However, it is going to help you towards the middle of that Dasha to prevail and come out of that debilitation. So in that 19-year period, maybe the first 8-9 years will be full of struggle, and then the divisional charts will kick in and they will help you. You will pretty much be helping yourself in achieving the goals that you need to achieve in that Saturn Mahadasha. Now, another thing to notice, okay, especially when you're judging the Antradasha from Mahadasha, is that you have to see the placement of Antradasha planet from Mahadasha. And I told you this yesterday as well, that if you're running through a really good cycle of Saturn Mahadasha, but then suddenly you're going to go through a debilitated Mars Antradasha in Saturn Dasha, is that really going to be bad for you or good for you? You want to see the placement of Mars from Saturn. So if Mars is placed in the 6th, 8th, or 12th from Saturn, because you're running its Dasha, then it's going to give bad results. If a debilitated Mars is placed in the 1st, 4th, 7th, or 10th house, or the Trikona places from Saturn, then it'll give mixed results. Not too good, not too bad. But if a debilitated Mars is sitting from 3rd and 11th place from Saturn, then it might actually do far better than even the Kendra position. Because malefic planets do very well in 3rd and 11th house, which is the Upacha houses. Okay, and so from here you'll be able to determine, like, okay, even if my Mars is debilitated and I'm going through his Antardasha, yet it's placed in third from the Saturn, I'll still be able to manage it. It may not be the best Dasha, it may not be, what I expected, but hey, I didn't feel the consequences of the debilitated Mars. So that's one of the other ways you need to look at a Dasha. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the most important Dasha in your life, they say it's going to be the Dasha of your Ascendant Lord. Okay? And that is very true. But it coexists with another Dasha. Can you guess as to what other Dasha is equivalent to the Dasha of the Ascendant Lord? And that is the Dasha of your Atmakaraka. What is Atmakaraka? Well, it's the planet that is holding the highest degree in your birth horoscope. So degrees are from 0 to 30. And so if one of the planet is closest to the 30th degree, becomes your Atmakaraka. And obviously Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are not counted at all because they're not part of the Dasha system. Okay, and this is why you don't count them as Atmakaraka at all. And if you look at the position of the Atmakaraka in the D9 chart and the D10 chart, that will give you a good indication of your career as well and the direction of your career, because that is the destination path of your soul, Atma. And obviously I'm not going to go into detail in that because I've done that before in my channel. If you look at under astrology playlist, or if you want more details on it, you're going to find it on in my book at the link below. But yeah, so this is how you judge a mahadasha and antradasha, but we'll be doing more videos. Okay, so one thing I will not be discussing in these videos is the concept of Narayani Bhavchalit chart and Bhavchalit chart, because it is going to confuse you out of your mind when you're looking at all these scenarios. And on top of that, you have to worry about how the planets have now switched their placement in the Bhavchalit chart. You should, the only person who should look at Chalit's chart is somebody who has experience of at least 15 to 20 years. Without that, you can still predict an accurate dasha by just looking at the things that I'm telling you. We're also going to go into Shatbala in future. Okay, we're going to go into Shatbala, Kalbal, Tikbal, all of these things we're going to go step by step, but I'm just adding everything in here in one piece just so you get the grasp of, how to look at a dasha. But I will not be, I will discuss later down the line of Narayani Bhavchalit chart, because there are about like 4 or 5 different Bhavchalit charts. Which one are you going to follow? Pick one. So this is why I'm not going to confuse you, just stick to the basics. But now let me show you an example of how a dasha works. Now this is a chart of a very famous person that I've already done, whose horoscope I've already done, and that's Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And if you look at his D1 chart, his main birth chart, which we're going to discuss here, his best dasha was the Saturn mahadasha. Okay. And Mercury was also okay, but it really gave some downturns there. But why is it that Amitabh Bachchan ruled during the Saturn dasha? Well, not only is it his ascendant lord as a mahadasha, but it's placed in Kendra in the main birth chart in a friendly sign of Venus. Okay. And on top of that, if you look at all the mini dashas, the majority of the antradashas that helped him stay on top, okay, look at all the planets from the Saturn position. Look at Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. They are 5th from Saturn. So anytime their Antradasha came in Saturn, it still gave very good results. Jupiter placed third from Saturn. Again, gave good results. Because remember, 3 and 11 places give good results, especially malefic planets. Okay. Then came Rahu, Antradasha. Rahu is 4 places from Saturn. Still Kendra from Saturn. Okay. The only one that was not good is Moon. But then if you look in divisional charts, then Moon plays that good part. Okay. Which I'm not going to discuss. I've already spent so much time here. Okay. And then if you look at Ketu, okay, Ketu is in his ascendant. And Ketu is 8 places. I mean, 7, 8, 9. No, Ketu is 10 places away from Saturn. Again, Kendra position. So you see how just the main birth chart, which holds 80% of your life matter and your life force, see how good that 19-year period was. And even if you look at Mercury period, in Mercury period, mostly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the planets, I think besides Ketu, are either Kendra or Trikona or in Upacha from Mercury. And so that shows you how much this helps in terms of seeing and judging a dasha. Okay? So guys, this was my long ass video on mahadasha, which will go into deeper layers later on. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe above, because I'm going to be discussing all this cool stuff here. And if you want to know what dasha you're running into, and if it's going to be good or bad, check out my link below. Check out my book there, Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with Moon in the 8th house. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up all you chaos lovers? So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please share my channel with all your family and friends who are in love with astrology. Because I'm the man when it comes to astrology, okay? So make sure you do that. And I will see you tomorrow with another cool new video, okay? Sorry, I love my coffee spiked. Woo!